understanding the drivers, I think it really helps to understand how to design the experience afterwards. Oh, thanks for having me here. I would love to start with inviting you to stand up and maybe move a little bit. I mean, we have been seated like for 1 hour. You're tired. It's 8, right? Yeah, and maybe like move at the front of the scene and just take another seat. Maybe more in front, please help me out. Like, I really don't want to give a talk, but I want to have a conversation with friends and.
Maybe we can take some of these.
Yeah, exactly. You're very welcome to remove your shoes. Like, you know, this looks like a sofa place. I already feel like this place is my house. Okay, let's move. Thanks, Samer. Yeah. Come over, guys. Oh my God, this is amazing. Look at those guys. Okay, before starting, I have a question.
This is more crowded than before.
Yeah, exactly. It's so, I mean, it makes me feel way more comfortable, actually. Thank you, guys. So, last question. Who is a student here? Raise your hand.
I was a student
Okay.
years ago.
Great. Great. So it's never the end of learning. Someone else. So everyone else is from the outside, or externals. I don't know actually what I'm asking. Okay, Okay, DPS students, and then the last bit of people is like external people. External people, hands, raise your hands. External people? External to this building, I don't know. Like not from here.
IBM folk as well, so.
Okay, I think it's enough to get a rough idea. Okay, cool. Okay, so thanks for coming here. And so today I'm gonna speak about design for gameful experiences. So I'm Claudia and I'm a UX designer at Design It. And I'm just quickly going to tell you what we're going through, so the journey that we're gonna go through today together. So the first one is a bit of a personal introduction, so how I got into this topic. The second is about human drivers, so what drives humans into acting and into taking decisions, and how can we make use of those in order to design gameful experiences. And then I design patterns for gameful design, and here in specific I'm speaking about mobile apps, because it's what I know, okay? So, first chapter, how I got into playfulness. So here I want to show you a little bit of my student career. So I think in retrospective I realized that I've done a lot of projects that were like kind of playful, so I just want to share with you some of those. The first one is the matching bench. So it's the evolution of Tinder, of Mythic, whatever. So you just sit on it and then So this is an app, which is a reinterpretation of the weather app. It's called Sun Finder, and it comes from the time I spent in Copenhagen, where it was raining all the time, and I was only wishing for finding some sun outside of the city. So me and my team of friends, let's say. So yeah, we just created this app where you can see on this side where to find the sun in the closest city to your town. Okay, then this is an embarrassing slide, but I have to share it with you. So this is my first day at work. So when I went out of school, I felt really like, oh my God, how am I going to be playful in a working environment? How are they going to accept this side of me? And this is like the 10th picture I took just to show my mom that I was relaxed. While inside, I was a bit like that. Luckily, what I found at Design It, it's like situations like that. Like I saw people playing ping pong, dogs going around all day long, and people like running from one side to the other one of the office on a skateboard and like wearing weird stuff. Yeah, exactly, right? And then I started to look closer and like look at the details, and I looked on everyone's desk and I found little signs of playfulness. Not even in Munich. Like I decided to reach out to the global offices and ask them to send me signs of playfulness. Like, is only like the crazy team of Munich, or is it something that is going around in all the other cities as well? And I got really like probably like 50 or 60 pictures like that. And that really led me to ask myself this question: why is playfulness so important for designers? Is it really because we don't want to grow up? And I think what I realized is that playfulness is important because it's an attitude that allows people to face challenges with some kind of lightness. So let's say, what is important for? Playfulness is the basis for team building. You know, like we are changing teams every a couple of months, and you really need to understand. I mean, we're speaking about empathy again, like the previous talk. Do you remember the cat face? So yeah, we need to do this kind of warm-up games. Just why did I ask you to come here? Just because I really wanted to feel closer to you and create some kind of bond with you guys. Yeah, playfulness allows you to feel more comfortable and therefore more creative. And why? Because it kicks the fear of failure away. So, you know, when you're playing, you really forget about your own restriction and your own rules, and you just feel like, it's fine if I fail. I can learn something out of this anyway. So what happened after this realization of the importance of playfulness is that I'm like, okay, so now I know that playfulness is important. How can I bring this research forward and try to bring it into my role of a UX designer? So I did a little bit of research from academic papers and from PhD people. And then the first topic I came across was the fact that playful is different from gameful. So just to make a quick example, like playful, it's Snapchat. So it's like freedom of expression, improvisation. You just do it because it's fun and just because you want to share something hilarious with your friends. Gameful is like video games and board games. You have rules, sometimes you fight, you have competition, you have to reach a goal. Right? And yeah, maybe let's just make an example on digital experiences. I want to go to Corleone. Who knows what Corleone is in Munich? Great choice. Good. So it's my favorite bar in Munich. I can choose different approaches. The first one is that I want to use Google Maps. And what happens is that I write Corleone. Google finds it pretty quick. And then it tells me the way from A to B, and I can decide when to leave. After work, 6:40, and then I can look for different opportunity for me to reach that place. So Uber, Metro, whatever. That's it, A to B. Another experience could be Beeline. This is a product that I bought on Kickstarter. It's like a compass that goes on the bike, and what you do is, again, you input your destination, and then you get this line from A to B. And the only thing that Beeline does is that it gives you like a compass, so it gives you the direction towards the location. and then you have to improvise. So it's not telling you turn left, turn right. Is it really an app for spontaneous travelers? So what happens afterwards is that you get a mapping of what is the route that you took, so that you can do it again another time, or say, oh, here there was a really beautiful garden, I wish I would go back in the future. So is it more of a spontaneous experience? Or I can go to Swarm, which is my favorite app. So where I saved all the places I've been in Munich. So let's say I know I want to go to Corleone. I remember it's in Sendlingertor, but I don't know exactly where. So let's say I zoom in the area of Sendlingertor, and then I scroll and I see, okay, where was it? Was it like, okay, this is a bit embarrassing to show you guys, but yeah, so we found it. So here I can see some pictures of the place and say, is it really the one that I meant? Yeah, it looks like the place that I went to last time with my friend Richie. And what I have to say is just, okay, now Swarm connect me to Google Maps and tell me where it is. Cool. Then, what did I do? No. Oh, here. So I have a question for you guys. What is the difference between those three experiences? Anyone? Please help me. So Google Maps, and this is Beeline and Swarm.
I guess one is pretty efficient, gives you the exact directions it should be taking. One is more inviting towards spontaneity and potential things that are very much see. And the third one, I have no clue. It's probably a way of reviewing places that you've been before, but through, yeah, not sure.
That is a pretty accurate explanation. Thank you. So the first one is functional. That's true. It's very much based on efficiency. Like, I need to reach that place in the quickest time. The second one is playful, meaning like I can still explore and find some, playfulness feelings in it, but still you don't have the the game dynamics that you have in the third one. So if you can map it, we can see that the first one goes from pure efficiency, and the third one, it goes towards a rich experience. So I think at this point, I really owe you like a definition of what gamification is. So gamification is the craft of bringing game dynamics into everyday tasks. And the goal is to increase motivation through fun and enjoyment. To be more specific, gamification comes from game design. The difference is that while game designers focus on creative alternative universe to reality, so they really want to engage you in this, sometimes in these boxes like that you are constantly playing with. In design, gamification starts with understanding what drives people's behavior, why people behave in certain ways. And with this part, we finish the first chapter and we go into the second one, which is trying to understand the core drivers for a gameful experience. So what motivates people? I want to share with you a framework that I researched and that I found pretty interesting. It's called Octalysis, and it's from Yu Kai Cho. So what he did is mapping the drivers that guide people's behavior, not only in gameful experiences, but in everyday tasks in life. So you find meaning, empowerment, social influence, unpredictability, avoidance, scarcity, ownership, and accomplishment. And what is happening now is that we're going to go through all of them, and I'm going to show you an example per driver so that it becomes a bit more clear. And the reason why I'm showing you this, and maybe I can tell you already what I liked about this framework, is the fact that once you understand it, it really allows you to evaluate any kind of experience based on those drivers and by like listing the types of features. So it's really an evaluation tool. I found it pretty interesting, but maybe you tell me later what you think about it. So the first one is meaning. So I'm motivated because I'm part of something bigger than myself. So this is really like you feel like you are chosen to perform a task or to take part into a project because you have a mission. In this case, I wanted to show you the UNICEF TAP project, where the goal was to raise money and awareness, and they really took a playful, actually gameful approach on that. I'm just letting the video speak for myself because it's way better. And
we're obsessed with our cell phones, sometimes for good reason. Other times we check for likes, and check, and check. Or read intriguing articles about, well, never mind. And have you been out to dinner lately? We think we can't live without our phones. So why don't we use them to help provide something people actually can't live without? Clean water. At UNICEFTapProject.org, you can do just that. Give clean water to a child in need by taking a challenge to not touch your phone. The longer you go without your phone, the more you can help UNICEF put children first by providing them with clean water. 5 minutes could help provide a child with clean water for a day. Every minute counts, so keep going. When you can't resist.
Yeah. So basically the idea is that it's that you have this app, and the fact that you are not using your phone with the app open is counting on your minutes, and then you're gonna raise money that are given by the sponsors of UNICEF. So at the same time you're raising awareness and raising money from the sponsors. And actually what they said is that this project managed to bring water to over 500,000 people, and that the number of children dying from waterborne illnesses dropped from 4,000 in 2006 to 1,000 in 2015. So the impact of this project was pretty high. And the fact that you feel like the motivation to do it, even if you're just one person, thinking about the fact that if every person does it, it really like makes you feel part of something bigger. That's the motivational aspect. The second driver is accomplishment. I feel motivated because I feel like I'm improving and leveling up. So this is the most common driver that is used into gameful experiences. So the fact that you have a challenge, and then you have like features like trophies and badges. So yeah, I think that the easiest example that I have experience of is Duolingo, which is like this way to learn a new language. And if you look at this screen, for example, you see that you have the day streak, so it's the process, the progress. You have all your lessons that you achieved, and then you've met your daily goals. So it's like positive reinforcement all the time, like saying, hey, you're doing good, you're learning, this is great. And actually, this is not just an image, but it's a video of one guy who managed to finish Duolingo, and he was really excited about it. So I'm going to share it with you.
Alright, so this is my 500th day of Duolingo, and I just finished the tree yesterday, and now I'm trying to get the stuff gold, which wasn't. So yeah, I'm really proud of this achievement. It took a long time, and in fact, in the middle they changed the tree completely, and I had to redo almost everything. So now I'm going to do the last exercise, which is not gold. As you can see, they're all gold. Except this one, economics. So let's see.
You heard, but he said something like, I'm really proud of my achievement. So that is really like what this experience is pushing on. It's like making you feel proud of yourself. The third one is empowerment. I feel motivated because I'm engaged in a creative process. And this is normally the feeling of playing with Lego, for example. You can always like come up with infinite solutions, so you feel happy because you are using your creative power. And it's also the same principle that is used by the project Folded, which is a medical project where gamers have been involved into the creation of solving protein shapes, like puzzles. And actually, I'm going to tell you how the story went.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the MDnews.com Minute. I'm Charlie Milburn. A video game may offer insight into finding cures for cancer, Alzheimer's, HIV/AIDS, and other diseases. The multiplayer online game called Fold It centers on 3D renderings of proteins that non-scientist gamers fold into models through a series of mouse moves, keystrokes, and clicks. The game is free and anyone can play. Some of the models created by gamers can help biochemists understand how proteins fold into a myriad of structures, some of which might hold the key for curing diseases involving proteins. Fold It was launched in 2008 as a collaboration between Zoran Popovic, an associate professor at the University of Washington's Computer Science Department, and David Baker, a UW biochemistry professor and a Howard Hughes Medical Institute investigator. The game, which has tens of thousands of registered players, has only grown in popularity since its launch. It was proven scientifically valid soon after launching, when 7 of 15 models rendered by Fold It gamers ranked high in the most difficult category of competition at the protein chemistry industry's prestigious CASP contest. In fact, one of these models took first place in the category of new proteins. The 7 ranking models were created by a team that included a 13-year-old gamer who goes by the screen name Cheese and plays Fold It with his parents. This success has demonstrated Baker's theory that human brains with a capacity for spatial reasoning and puzzle solving can outperform supercomputers when discovering new protein models. You're now up to date with the MDNews.com Minute. This is Charlie Milburn. Thanks for watching.
So, I mean, that was pretty impressive for me that they said that they could find a solution in something like 10 days when researchers have been doing it for 15 years. And like in the winning team, there was even like a kid of 13 years old, and it's really like, this is crazy. Okay, so let's go to the next. The next one is ownership. I feel like I own something, therefore I want to improve it, protect it, and grow it. So, yeah, this is really like, you know, the idea of having an avatar that you really care for is the Tamagotchi experience. Like you have something that you have to nurture and protect. And it's also the same dynamic that has been used by Epic Win, which is a really epic experience. You will see the video, which take care of your daily tasks. So maybe focus on the avatar feature of this experience.
In a world of chaos, one hero must emerge who can vanquish any task. On the journey of a lifetime, filled with perils, overspilling inboxes, unmopped floors, forgotten milk. But on this journey comes a new form of motivational power to obliterate the washing up and to take home the milk. Remember and achieve your real-world goals with Epic Win, the streamlined to-do list with an RPG setting. And reward yourself for completing all the tasks you've been putting off. Beat them up and gain experience points and loot. You'll level up your life and your character as you progress. And really get things done. Epic Win! Out now on the App Store.
Okay. So the feature I wanted to focus on was the character. So basically, by doing all your house chores, yeah, you really grow like the experience of this character, and you gain, I think it was strength point, and yeah, something like that. I'm really impressed also by the storytelling of this team. So yeah, I'm gonna go to the next one. We have still some time, some journey to do. Social influence. I act based on what people think about me. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward actually. You act based on what people might say or might think about you. And that's the concept which is all power-based, their idea. So their goal is to reduce energy consumption on people's household And the way they did it is to show other people what is the consumption of their neighbors. So every month they get this nice letter where you see, this is you. There are people that are worse than you, but there are people that are way better than you. You better behave, you better save some money and help the environment. So you are a good citizen, but still you could do better. So then we have scarcity. I want something just because I cannot have it. That's a very common driver. So, and that's actually also a driver that was used by Facebook in the early times. So when it was only like a social network for Harvard people, all the other communities and schools, they were like, oh my God, we also want it. And then they opened up to this community. And then they opened up to all the big public. And that's how they built their success as well, I would say. And I think that's what they're trying to do also with the Inner Circle, which is a new dating service. And what they do is that they say their very proposition is to have access to selective dating app that connects ambitious, like-minded people. So it's only for cool people. Therefore, if you if you want access and to find a really cool person, you need to have an invitation code from someone from the circle. And the fact that you don't have access, they say, yeah, I haven't tried, but I feel it's a bit a snobbish approach, but for some people it might work. Then we have unpredictability. Because I don't know what is going to happen next, I can't stop thinking about it. And this is the same principle that guides people to watch 10 episodes in a row of, I don't know, what's the cool thing right now? House of Cards, thanks. Or read books is a bit more analog, but still works. And it's also like the principle behind gambling addiction, so it depends on the take, positive, negative. And that's the driver behind the idea of the speed camera lottery, where the goal is to try to reduce speed violation. So the idea is that you have a camera that takes pictures of the car who are speeding over the limit. What happens afterwards is that the people who actually matched the speed limit are going to be selected to be, how do you say, to be, they can win money out of the people that have been fined, let's say. Lottery. Exactly, it's like a lottery. So and this is like comments from some people, this is a really positive thing. I'm anyway a good citizen, but still I can maybe win money. So the fact that you don't know if you're actually gonna win or not make you still like behave. And these are like some data, so that the reduction of speed of 22%, so it looks like it was somehow pretty successful. The last one is avoidance. I'm doing something to avoid a loss. So I don't know if you ever tried this app. So I really hate running, but I know I have to do it. And last week I tried this app where there are zombies running behind you while you're running. So like you go on your run, and then you have the voice of
collected a bottle of water, a radio, and a box of batteries. 2.4 kilometers. 2.4 kilometers. 17 minutes.
Zombies attacked a nearby farm. The survivors are on the roof. The survivors are on the roof. We can't just die. Leave them there to die.
Five kilometers. 5 kilometers. Minutes. 29 minutes.
See him. You lost him. Come on home, runner 5. Come on home, runner 5. One step closer to saving. One step closer to saving the world.
Yeah, so it is pretty clear that you have zombies running behind you, and you have to save yourself and save the people that are dying on the street. And you can also work in teams. And if there are other runners, you have like a connection with them. So pretty fun. Okay, so with this we completed the circle of drivers, And now I'm going to reveal the secret of this circle, which is the fact that on the right side, you see the drivers that are based on intrinsic motivation. It means that when people are driven by those drivers, they don't expect to have any money, like the experience is rewarding itself. On this other side, people expect an extrinsic motivation, be like feeling rewarded, getting extra reward, like money or coins or something in exchange for what they're doing. You can notice that on the top, there are positive drivers. In the framework, they call it the white hat drivers. And on the bottom, you have the black hat, so the one that are negative. But the fact that you have positive and negative, it doesn't mean that you only have to use the top. It just means that some people react on under negative drivers. Let's say, for example, if I hate to run and I need a zombie to run behind me to convince me to run, that's negative, but that's fine. That's how my brain works. So why do we have all these lines in here? So another secret. So the thing is that what you can do, so this is the evaluation method that I was speaking about. So here you can write and list all the features that are supporting this driver. So after you listed all the features, you can also rate them, meaning you have a value from 0 to 10. So how much you're using empowerment, how much you're using social pressure. Is it not a fully quantitative and scientific method, but still it helps giving you an idea of how balanced is your experience. So in this case, you can see, for example, that Facebook is a very strong right brain drived. Twitter is a bit more balanced, but also right brain, and Farmville is left brain and black hat. So there is actually also a link on internet that you can use. There is a tool that you can use to evaluate your own experiences. So it's pretty nice. End of chapter 2. And we go into the last chapter where I want to share with you some of the design patterns that I found in apps. And I'm going to use apps that I use because then I can also defend or criticize them because I know them in details. But something that I also want to warn you about is that having an experience where you use design patterns without using the drivers is not a good idea, because just using some of those patterns doesn't mean that the experience is going to be gameful. So it doesn't guarantee for a success of the experience. So this is your toolbox. So here we have fantastic. One design pattern is challenge. So the first type of challenge that you have is challenge given by the app. In this type of challenge, they say, okay, you have to run 5 kilometers within this amount of time, and you get a reward on our shop. So this is really based on influence. For me, personally, this is a challenge that doesn't work much because they set the standard, and for me, 5K is too much. I mean, I know I'm not really good, but 5K is too much. Therefore, what I like to do instead is create my own challenge. So through this feature, I can say, okay, I want to run just 4 kilometers. I want to do it for 5 weeks. I have my group name, Dumber Time. And then I can also invite some of my friends to run with me, or to not in the same location, maybe they're running on their own, but in the end, we all see each other progress, and we support each other, or we just hate each other because maybe someone is much more successful, and this is really leveraging on the social influence driver. So I'm afraid that they think that I'm really bad at running, therefore I run. And it's accomplishment, because when I manage to do it, it makes me feel good. So showing these 2 examples for me is just a way to say that the way designers design the experience of the challenge is very important. So you have to make the user able to reach very low fruit somehow if they don't feel like taking the big challenge, and still be able to dream big. So make it customizable. The next one is leaderboard, which is again on Runkeeper, and I think I touched on that before. So what I mean with leaderboard is the fact that I'm competing with some friends, and actually that's me, and I'm cheating because I'm also considering walks. But still, this number 20 makes me feel very successful and like, look, Peter, even if you run 16 kilometers, I still went running 20 times. So, yeah, it's how my brain works, sorry. And then Duolingo. So Duolingo, I use this to explain a little bit about feedback. So here is a bit of a weird German sentence. I don't know if you agree, but for me it didn't really make sense. But what you get is like a small feedback that said, yeah, you're doing good. So it's like really like instant gratification that makes you feel accomplished and successful in the experience that you're doing. So in learning languages in this case. Then we have the unlocking pattern, which is the fact that you cannot access other levels if you don't do your homework before. So this really, at some point, motivated me to continue. And then there is another Duolingo example, which is progress tracking. I would really like to say that this is me, but this is actually a friend of mine, sitting somewhere here, that was able to do Duolingo for more than 1 year, like every day. And what I see here, maybe like more than 2 lessons per day. Still, this is incredible for me. And apparently, the progress tracking was really working for him. It's like, so you have, the way it works is that if you don't do your homework for 1 day, you go back to 0. So you have, I think, somewhere a feature where you can buy freezing your streaks. So meaning that if you know tomorrow you're not going to do it, or today, you buy these magic features and you block it. And I think that's actually what happened here. Correct?
It was a time zone change.
Yeah. So I mean, that's also what I mean when I say that for some people it works and for some not, because for him it was really like, I need to do it every day. For me, 1 day I forgot to do it and then I went back to 0 and I'm like, where is the feature to get it back? I need to pay a lot of coins and get it back. And then when I realized that there was no feature, I'm like, okay, I'm out of this. I don't want to do it anymore. Swarm. I'm a big fan of that. So this is about rewards. Do something, please. So, okay, anytime I go to a bar, what I can do is that I can check in this bar or actually location, whatever it is. So in this case, I was in the Summit. I was preparing my presentation for DPS, which turns into SOS. And once I check in the location, in this case I was at the Summit, you get like money, and I'm 1 check-in away to dethroning Threes as the mayor of the Summit. I can do it. I just need to check in more in this place. So this is, I mean, I know it's a bit embarrassing, but it's really what motivates me to go to places and keep checking in. And this is like, I think it's the best experience. It's like every time I go to Café Nymphenburger sects in Victoria Markt, I have this constant fight with this guy, which I've never met, because we always like we steal from each other the mayorship of that place. So I really wish I'm going to meet him at some point. And this is like what I was telling you before, is like this loss aversion. Like once I'm the mayor, I keep going because I don't want to lose my privilege. But on the other side is accomplishment, because when I steal this, every time what I do is that I share this screen with my friend that knows I'm a freak of Swarm. Yeah, so I think that was the last one. That was quick. And I would like to, if you guys feel like sharing with me, actually, if you had any digital product or non-digital product that made you feel like more engaged with everyday tasks. So yeah, maybe just you can take a couple of minutes and look into your phone and look at your apps and like, okay, what am I using? I don't know, at some point I use this one. And if you, yeah, because I mean, I'm really interested in knowing like what works with you. Like I know the experience on myself. So if someone wants to share, fine, I'm really happy to hear. If not, you can make questions that I hopefully will be able to answer. Thank you.
you the mayor of DPS yet?
Damn it, I forgot to check in. I'll do it immediately.
Do we have a profile on Swarm?
I don't think so.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Questions? Have you found an app? You think engages you?
about one question. You explained the 8 drivers of playfulness or gamification.
Yeah.
Did you experience like any one of them like specifically is like more important or drives engagement and playfulness more than the others?
So what I noticed that accomplishment is very common. Like so while doing the presentation as well, it was really easy to find example for accomplishment because it's very close to the game dynamic. So you know you have a lot of apps and services which uses badges and coins and trophies, and it was quite easy. Loss aversion. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I think in every experience you have a bit of everything. So it's very hard to find a product that can embody just one driver. So yeah, I think if I wanted to be very precise, I would have like analyzed all of them and say, okay, this is like X amount aversion, X amount accomplishment, scarcity. But yeah, I mean, in general, to answer your question in a very quick way, I think that accomplishment is the most common.
I use the Pomodoro app to be, I don't know if you know it.
Okay.
It's
Pomodoro?
to work very focused on one task. So it's ticking 25 minutes, then you make a pause of 5 minutes, and then again 25 minutes. So and you have to protect these 25 minutes. If you are disturbed in these 25 minutes, you have lost the Pomodoro. So the goal is to have as many Pomodoros as
Okay.
yes. So yeah, it's
Cool.
I think it's kind of gamification as well.
Thank you. Cool, I'm going to check it out.
I've seen an app where you have to when you open it, it starts growing trees, and then if you get distracted, you kill all the trees and you kill your forest. So it's a way to keep you from getting distracted by just letting the forest grow. Forgot what the name was, but I'm sure you can look it up pretty easily. Forest app.
Forest app.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty effective.
I think I need to start taking some notes because otherwise I forget.
I'm not sure if you need a microphone. Actually, first of all, Claudia, outstanding presentation.
Hey, you need a microphone because we recording it, the sound. Sorry.
Okay. So first of all, Claudia, I need a microphone. That's what I got. First of all, thank you for the outstanding presentation. It was informative and entertaining at the same time. Actually, what I'm using is a relatively simple app. It's the Fitbit tracker, first of all, and then I switched to the Apple Watch. And actually, what really drove me mad is that my sister, and I think I'm kind of a sportive guy, actually really, always won the challenge in the steps we took over the day. And the simple reason was I'm using my car and she's using public transport. And that was not the only reason why I'm switching over to the Apple Watch, but I'm try to catch up maybe to other people. So competition works for me.
Great. Yeah, but I think this is like a common problem in general. Like, so I think that if you compare it with how much time we invested in designing games, like video games, and how much we invested in designing gameful experiences, I think like at some point gameful design also had kind of a negative meaning, because like all the initial apps were really lame and like really low engagement and like coins and points, and so they were not really working. And the fact that we are understanding the drivers, I think it really helps to understand how to design the experience afterwards. So I think behind all of this, there is always like understand people, because what motivates me doesn't motivate you.
Yeah, and the interesting piece actually with the Fitbit tracker is it's relatively simple, right? It's you're just counting the steps. So if you're running 12,000, it's better than 10,000. With the Apple Watch, the good thing is actually you can define your own level of, what makes you, bring you up to 100%. So my definition, okay, additional 550 kilocalories is bringing me up to 100%, while a friend of mine said, okay, 600 kilocalories is actually his benchmark.
Yeah.
So I think that's working a little bit better for me currently. So, but I'm trying to increase my own, level of, getting up to 100%.
Cool. Keep rocking it.
Yeah, I'm an extreme user of apps that gamify my life. It starts when getting up. I use Sleep as Android, and it has a bit of a different motivation. They have to solve very difficult math riddles to turn off my alarm clock.
Oh, crazy.
But I can also press snooze a lot, and then I can compare my statistics of how often I press snooze, how long it takes me from the first ring to get up and stuff like that. And that motivates me to get up earlier, but this week it hasn't worked.
Again? What is it called again?
Sleep as Android.
Sleep as Android.
Also an iPhone version.
Crazy. Thank you.
I haven't got an app for you, but a good example for playfulness in B2B applications. And I really like MailChimp for that. That's what, when MailChimp approached the scene, nobody took it seriously because it didn't look like an enterprise application or whatever. But the users liked it, even though the marketing pros, because it was full of surprises. Yeah, back then, when you created your mail templates, you could adjust the width of the template, and the MailChimp ape was pointing out, okay, what is the most common used width for an email? What makes sense? And if you went beyond that limit, the arm got longer and longer, and the chimp cried, ouch, 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 and eventually you could even rip off his arm. And,
okay, cool.
I think they changed it in the meantime, probably due to animal rights protests. But they kept all those little surprises, like before you send out your campaign, your arm gets sweaty, or the arm of the ape gets sweaty before pressing the button, and stuff like this. And it's just fun to use it, and that's what it made it so big, I think. Yeah. So I think the driver here is unpredictable.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks. Nice.
Hello, maybe I have one more thing. It is, I have a Chinese wife, so I know a little bit about how they do things in China. And then maybe you know that the red envelope is really, really popular in China. It is like you put money in it, and then for every special occasion you give red envelope to other people. And now in WeChat, you can set that, okay, I want to distribute 10 yuan, for example, between the people who are in the group, which might be maybe 50 people. And I can say that, okay, it is like divided equally or randomly, and people have to open it quickly to actually get the money. And during Chinese New Year, all the people are just on WeChat that, okay, I'm the one who can open the envelope, and they compare how much money you kind of collected with this red envelope. And then people are really crazy. Yeah, I'm not really in a I don't have a lot of apps, but I saw the whole family was always on this app.
Nice. Thank you. It's also really fun to see how like some apps really shape the behaviors of people. Like while you're telling me, I really imagine like these people like all on the phone, stressfully typing.
So, I didn't like your presentation, but I loved it. To use the playfulness. Honestly, yeah. What I wanted to say, I'm not digital guru like most of the people sitting here, but I'm very, very fond of sociology behind all of this, because without that, none of this exists. And I'm kind of curious. Sorry, I missed the part exactly what you do and where you do. I mean, I get a point, but like, what's your professional job part about this? How do you play with these drivers? Like today, my favorite podcast is called Hidden Brain. I really encourage everybody to check it out. It's extremely awesome, not just regularly awesome. And the deal is that they kind of know this. It's already like 3-4 years ago that Facebook knows better than what we know about ourselves. So when we do any of this type of research, I ask you questions like, what would you like? You say all this stuff that you even believe that you do like them, but at the end of the day, you will still click, for example, on Netflix, they were using example, you love documentaries, we will love this kind of deeper stories, but at the end, we will click some shallow stuff, you know, like to watch. And how do you play with this and attain, while creating these games, like connection of the, I hate to break it to the digital experts, digital world exists because of people, not vice versa, but and how to bring more, and this kind of strong social connection, because I did master degree in that direction too.
Okay, so let's say that so far I think I'm still in a stage of research. So what I'm trying to do is to understand these frameworks and trying to bring it into the daily work life. I can tell you what I would do now that I know it. I think probably this is something that I would, in the first place, just bring in front of people and try to, I would use it as a tool to understand what motivates them. So in a research phase in the first place. And then probably once I would have a prototype of an experience. So let's say like a clickable prototype where you can already understand what is the service or the app about. Ask them to rate the experience based on the motivators, the drivers that we saw there. So this is in a way that what I see, I could use it in my daily work. Of course, it has to be like an experience that is applicable to this field as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll ask more questions afterwards.
No worries. Happy to take them.
Thanks, winner.
Cool.
Okay, either this or a big applause for